2026 NFL free agency has already been one of the craziest we have ever seen, and we're not even 48 hours into it yet. Today, we're going to break things down, go over all the crazy signings so far, tell you which signings are dubs, which signings are L's, and also go over some of the remaining free agents and discuss where they could end up. Beginning just a few days ago before free agency really started, you had the Eagles re-sign Jordan Davis to a 3-year, $80 million extension, which is kind of crazy. He's been a staple on that Eagles front, which did decline a little bit last year, so they can't afford to lose him. Got some big money, big boy deserved it. Next, we had a little trade go down that went a little bit under the radar. Packers acquired Colts linebacker Zaire Franklin in exchange for defensive tackle Colby Wooden. Zaire Franklin's been a tackle machine, and the Packers, they kind of needed that with some of the linebackers that they lost in free agency, which we will get to. But I think it's actually a pretty big of a dub for the Packers here. I mean, he's a tackle machine. He definitely has his weaknesses, but was a captain for the Colts. He's definitely going to be a positive influence in that defense. Maybe not a big game changer or anything, but definitely a positive addition. I feel like the Colts kind of lost this one a little bit. They did need help, some beefy help. They lost a couple interior defensive linemen in free agency. So, I mean, I guess this was a win-win. Nothing too crazy. Obviously, we had the Max Crosby trade, which I already broke down in a standalone video uploaded a few days ago, so you can go check that out. Here's a big one, too. Khalil Mack still playing, man. Another 1-year extension, $18 million from the Chargers. They really couldn't afford to lose him. He's still productive at this point in his career. He's like, 36 now? Is he going on 37? Something around there. So the future Hall of Famer still getting the big bucks. Now, this was an interesting one, too. I thought James Conner was finally going to part ways with the Cardinals. They brought him back for another year. He's going to be 31 this season, coming off a big ankle injury. They already have Trey Benson. They signed another running back, which we'll talk about today. So that really confused me. I totally thought he was going to go elsewhere, but the Cardinals, again, we saw yesterday, they added another running back. They don't have much superpower at that position, but they have a lot of depth now, which we'll go over a little bit later once we do reveal who they did sign to join that running back room. Next up, a big trade went down. Trent McDuffie was traded to the Rams. Chiefs got some pretty big picks in return, but immediately the Rams lock him down a 4-year, $124 million extension, making him the highest paid cornerback at $31 million per year. He deserves it. Arguably a top 3 cornerback in the league. I think he got more than Sauce, obviously, but that's a big trade for the Rams. They just continue the trend of just not caring about their draft picks, which obviously has been working out pretty well for them. Got a Super Bowl out of it. They've been contenders almost every single season since they kind of adopted that philosophy. So the Rams, man, obviously going to be right back in the thick of things next year. They also made another signing to bolster that secondary, which we'll go over. I think they were tired of running Emmanuel Forbes out there. Wait, I didn't even realize deals were getting announced 2 days ago. I missed this one. Alec Ingold getting signed by the Chargers. You know, Jim Harbaugh wanting those big, beefy boys in that backfield to block for their running backs. So I like this actually a lot. I feel like that's a really good fit for Harbaugh, the fullback getting paid $7.5 million contract. Now, this was an interesting one. The Bills trading away Taron Johnson to the Raiders. And this was confusing to me because Taron Johnson's been a pretty solid cornerback in his career. And what was crazy was they were just going to outright release him. They were just not even trying to trade for him. And when they went to go release him, the Raiders like, let's do a late pick swap. So I think they did for a 6 for a 7 pick swap. And they got Taron Johnson to bolster that secondary, which the Raiders need talent everywhere. I mean, obviously, he's not like an all-pro caliber player, but like Taron Johnson's still quality. I just don't know whether the Bills wanted to release him, but they still got at least a pick swap out of it instead of just releasing him. So I think this is a dub for the Raiders and just really confusing why the Bills even did this in the first place. Eric Wilson getting locked down long-term by the Vikings, got a pretty big contract, 3 years, $22.5 million. Now, I know things had already been pretty wild, but things get crazier here, boys. Tua, released by the Miami Dolphins, they incur a $99 million dead cap hit. They're like, screw it, didn't want to. I think they were going to try to trade to somebody that wanted to take on that contract. Like they were going to probably give up like a 2nd or 3rd round pick for that. But obviously nobody wanted to incur that massive cap hit. So they just went and released them and they signed a replacement, which we'll go over in just a minute once we get there. But that's crazy, man. I mean, I feel like it was just yesterday, Tua put up 70 points on Sean Payton's Broncos. Now he's getting released. He had that one Mickey Mouse year under Mike McDaniel. But man, I hate it as like an Alabama fan growing up. I can't believe like how his career's turned out. Like he was just a freaking gunslinger at Alabama. Just so awesome to watch. And I thought he finally hit that potential that year where the Dolphins offense went crazy with Tyreek. But, man, it's just been downhill ever since. I really don't know. Like, I hate it because I don't know if it's really like concussions getting to him But I hope he has success. Like, I think he's still talented, but it's going to have to be the right situation. I don't know how much playing time he's going to get with the Falcons, which we'll go over that too a little bit later. I haven't got there, but he signed a one-year deal with the Falcons. For some reason, they want two left-handed quarterbacks. I'm assuming that means Penix is going to be out for some time, in the season. Won't be back fully healthy after a 17th ACL tear. But interesting, man. Interesting as Tua no longer a Miami Dolphin. But this is where, again, things are kind of crazy, like staying with the Dolphins here. Minkah Fitzpatrick traded to the Jets for a 7th-round pick. A 7th. I know Minkah isn't what he once was, but it's just crazy to me. This is where, Madden trade logic is just, so off, man. Because, you try this trade in Madden, dude, obviously it's not getting accepted. I know Madden isn't realistic, but it's just, it just still blows my mind when a still capable veteran who maybe goes to New York and gets back, starts playing like he did in his prime. But a real low risk, high reward deal for the Jets here, trading a 7th-round pick for a player that was all pro caliber once in his career. So we'll see. I do feel like it's a really good trade for the Jets. Still crazy to me the Dolphins just traded him like that. I mean, I wish my Titans kind of would have, thrown out a 7th-round pick for a proven veteran. But that was just unexpected out of freaking nowhere. It's like Minkah feels like he gets traded every single year. Next, Packers trade Rashawn Gary to the Cowboys. If I'm not mistaken, didn't he act like he got released? I feel like this is a good trade for the Cowboys. I forget what they actually had to trade. It wasn't much, but defensive captain for the Packers didn't have the greatest of seasons last year, but it has shown potential, obviously, in his career. I still feel like the Cowboys are still trying to make up for that lost production with the Micah Parsons trade last year. But, I mean, Rashawn Gary, another good pickup, as they have half the former Packers defensive line now since the Micah trade. But we move along as, again, they signed a 3-year, $40 million extension. Minkah did as soon as the trade was done. So he got paid. Again, he's not the player that he once was. I mean, who knows? We've seen players kind of fall off a little bit, halfway through their career. And all of a sudden, new scenery, new scheme, gets them right back to form. So we'll see. Again, I think that's a really, really good move for a really bad team in the Jets that need all the talent in the world. And as mentioned, you get the Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark reunion in Dallas now. They pretty much traded half the former defensive line for Micah Parsons. Next, you have the Texans, Sheldon Rankins, 2-year contract extension. Nothing too crazy. Didn't lose him. Now, this was where things were about to get wild. I thought Travis Kelce was going to retire, and obviously he didn't. Now, he was expected to return to the Chiefs, and there were some rumblings, there were some grumblings that he was actually going to hear out some other teams. I didn't think that was possible. There's no way Travis Kelce would not play with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. That would just be weird. I think he'd rather retire than that. But there were some grumblings out there that he was entertaining some other teams, some other offers, which he probably could have got paid, But obviously yesterday, late last night, he signed a 1-year deal with the Chiefs for I think $13 to $15 million. Which he probably could have got more money elsewhere. But like I said, I don't think it's really about the money at this point in his career. So, again, we get Travis Kelce in the Swifties for another year. Then this, I'll talk about crazy, dude. I know I've used that term a lot. I don't even know if there's a term higher than that describes this. Alec Pierce agrees to a 4-year, $114 million contract, making him the highest paid wide receiver per year in the NFL. I don't know if that's in NFL history. I think so, maybe. Alec Pierce, he's good. Don't get me wrong. I would have loved for my Titans to have got him, but, it was rumored he was going to get, 25, 26, 27 mil a year. It's that's out of my Titans price range. That's a little crazy for Alec Pierce. And I don't know what the average is, but that's close to, almost $30 million a season. That's wild. Literally making him the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL right now. It's just, that's an overpay. And apparently, he had higher offers elsewhere. I don't know if, other teams see a little bit more in him than, what a lot of us casuals do, or a lot of us non-GMs do. But, God, that's crazy. I don't know how they're supposed to lock down him and Daniel Jones, long-term. The money they gave given to Sauce now, with the picks they had to trade for him, the money they're having to give to Alec Pierce, and the money they're going to have to give to Daniel Jones, they will lock him down long-term. I really wonder if that's, going to set the Colts back pretty far, because, Jonathan Taylor, he's still solid. Jonathan Taylor obviously ran wild last year, but it's how much longer can Jonathan Taylor actually do that? Because we've seen running backs like Derrick Henry, you think he's going to fall off by 28, 29 years old, and he's still killing it going on age 32, and probably still kill it for another year or two at least. So maybe Jonathan Taylor's one of those guys, will still, be a really good productive running back in his 30s, but I wouldn't be surprised too if the fall off started to occur. So I really wonder if the moves the Colts have made is actually going to set them back a little bit. Falcons pick up Zaccheaus, which is funny. He would have been their second best receiver last year. I mean, David Stills was getting targets late in the season for the Falcons. He's a sneaky player, man. He showed up big for the Bears sometimes last year. He's a sneaky little player. I don't know how much money he got. But, I mean, Falcons needed some receiver help outside, Drake London and Kyle Pitts at tight end. So, I mean, he's, unless they draft a receiver, probably going to be there too. At worst, they're 3. So, good move for him. Probably got, a good contract for a decent show with the Bears last year. So, it just seems like a Falcons signing hunt. He's going to have Tua throwing the ball for a while this season. Next, Draymond Jones, who was traded from my Titans to the Ravens for a 5th-round pick, just got paid by the Titans' former head coach. 3 years, $40 million. He's a good player. And I guess for a productive edge rusher, he wasn't getting double-digit sacks this season or anything, but productive. And I guess at this point in, the NFL world, if you're a productive edge, you don't have to be the best edge in the world. If you're just a productive edge that can produce 5, 6, 7 sacks a year, you're getting paid at least $12 million a year. And it looks like he's getting about $13 million a year, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But a good payday for Draymond Jones and some edge rush help for the New England Patriots, who obviously didn't have the money to sound like a Trey Hendrickson or anything. So definitely going to help them out. And the one thing the Raiders couldn't do was lose some of their better players. And after Max Crosby, it's outside of Genty and Brock Bowers and maybe Colton Miller, it was Eric Stokes, a top 5 player for him, probably most talented player for him on defense now, so they could not afford to let him go. He got locked down to a 3-year, $30 million contract, so good move. As you saw, they already acquired Teron Johnson, so that defense is going to look completely different. That's definitely not the last, bit of money they've spent. They spent a ton of money. Some more Raiders deals we'll go over and talk about. Now, in my opinion, the biggest one yet, Kenneth Walker to the Kansas City Chiefs. This is kind of scary. You give him a full season where he is healthy as the number 1 lead back without a Zach Charbonnet stealing some carries from him, he could go crazy. He could go crazy. It's just, can he stay healthy, though? I'm really disappointed as a Breece Hall dynasty owner. If he would have got traded to the Chiefs last year, which they were desperately trying to do at the deadline, oh my God, my Breece Hall stock would be through the freaking roof. But no, they get Kenneth Walker, which kind of, I feel like that means my Titans are going to be the one to get Jeremiah Love. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But Kenneth Walker, man, this is a beautiful fit. If he can stay healthy, this is a guy that could run for 1,500 yards a season. But it's a big if, though. Running behind a really good offensive line. Obviously, you got a pretty decent quarterback. This is definitely going to be the best running back Mahomes has had back there in his career. So how much this influences the offense is yet to be seen. But I would assume it's going to be a quite drastic difference, than 30-year-old Kareem Hunt and aging Isaiah Pacheco back there in the backfield. It also kind of hurts my Brashard Smith stock a little bit. I was kind of hoping Brashard Smith maybe takes over as the number 1 running back there in Kansas City, but obviously not. He's more of a little scat back. But Kenneth Walker, that's gonna be nasty. I feel like that he's gonna have a big season if he can stay healthy. Cade Otton going back to the Bucs, kind of just whatever. I mean, he's a mid-tier tight end. He actually cost me $3,000 last year by dropping a pass, so that made me not like him so much. But he's still a quality tight end. Didn't get the biggest bag in the world, but he'll do a job there. They didn't obviously have enough money to go maybe get Isaiah Likely. Although I don't really know how much better Isaiah Likely is than K-Dot. Maybe we'll see that if he gets a full year of playing time as the number 1 tight end in New York, which we'll go over in a minute as well because we haven't got to that point yet. But solid signing. I mean, they definitely are better with K-Dot than without, not having a premier tight end behind them. And talking about the Rams acquiring cornerbacks, Jalen Watson got paid. So now have him and Trent McDuffie. They're thinking about it, it's actually funny. They pretty much got the Chiefs cornerback room. Oh my God, dude, how many cornerbacks did the Chiefs lose? Because my Titans signed their 4th cornerback. They lost Trent McDuffie. My God. Jalen Watson, 3 years, $51 million. Like I said, apparently Sean McVay was just livid with that cornerback room last year. I mean, obviously, that defense could be kind of gross over there in a good way. So McVay's happy. Basically just acquired the entire Chiefs cornerback room. So Jalen Watson, a late round pick, who obviously, apparently the Chiefs, they just know how to develop cornerbacks over there. They're just spitting them out left and right late. So that's probably why they didn't want to spend that much money at that position because they just know how to develop them over there. So they'll probably draft somebody in the 6th or 7th round that will probably perform just as well as Jalen Watson. That's not a knock on him. That's just talking about the Chiefs, how they develop cornerbacks over there. But, I mean, a great signing for the Rams, man. A little worried for them, though, because my Titans, we acquired a Chiefs former cornerback, L'Jarius Sneed, and he's been an absolute freaking garbage disaster, about to get cut. So hopefully that doesn't happen to the Rams. I doubt it. But this is a solid signing for them. Now, this is a crazy one. I keep using that verbiage. It's just, what else do I say? Jalen Phillips, 4 years, $120 million. I was really hoping my Titans were going to land him because we do need a premier edge rusher. But my God, $120 million. And then, like I said, if you're a productive edge man, this is how much you get paid in the National Football League playing a premium position like that. And the thing with Jalen Phillips, he's a really good player, but God, he has not been able to stay healthy. Like, I guess he's in the league 5 years now, and he's been healthy, like a full season for 2 of those. So if he can stay healthy, good signing for the Panthers. But I don't feel comfortable dishing out $120 million to a guy that just has played half his game since he's entered the league. So I mean, he's a double-digit sack guy if he can stay healthy and continue to progress. But I don't know. I don't know if he can stay healthy. But the Panthers obviously did need edge rush help. I mean, they were a playoff team last year, so maybe this can help them get over the edge, maybe win a playoff game next year, not get first rounded again. Now, this was a weird one. Obviously, the Colts gave the bag to Alec Pierce, which obviously still having to pay Daniel Jones. Weren't going to be able to give Michael Pittman a contract extension. And they were probably just going to release him, but instead did a boring 6-7 pick swap. As I feel like this is a great move for the Steelers. They had a little money to spend. Obviously, drastically needed to improve that wide receiver room. And who was their wide receiver 2 last year? Calvin Austin. I feel like Michael Pittman is a pretty good improvement upon Calvin Austin. So you now got Michael Pittman, DK Metcalf. So if Aaron Rodgers comes back, that's going to be the best receiver core he's had to throw to in a long, long time. I mean, not the best receiver room in the world, but like I said, Michael Pittman's going to be a solid number 2 to DK Metcalf. They can get a good slot in the draft. Or maybe there's actually not many good slots left in free agency. But I'm telling you, like, they get to see a big improvement in that offense. They did lose Kenneth Gainwell. They signed somebody else to replace him, which we'll, discuss here in a minute. But if Aaron Rodgers comes back, maybe they can see more success and not get first rounded next year. It's still probably a playoff team, although it's going to be weird now. When you have a coach like John Harbaugh get fired, a coach like Mike Tomlin leave, and they now have new coaches, it's going to take a while for my brain to wrap like that in my skull, I suppose. Because I'm sitting here thinking Mike Tomlin's still the head coach. No, it's Mike McCarthy. It's going to take a while for that to kind of settle, So Mike McCarthy with Aaron Rodgers again, and Michael Pittman, DK Metcalf, and a new running back addition. Maybe they see a huge stride forward in that offense. Next, this was the big one, boys. It was the first deal of the day, so I don't know why they waited so long to tweet it. But Malik Willis signs with the Miami Dolphins as Tua Tagovailoa's replacement. 3 years, $67 million. I'm so happy for him, dude. Malik Willis, as a Titans fan, man, I really saw the potential. I know he wasn't great the first few times he was able to start, but he was a raw prospect. That's why he fell to the 3rd round. Incredible athleticism, insane arm talent, but was thrown into a terrible situation as a rookie with a horrific offensive line in Tennessee, with Robert Woods, 32-year-old Robert Woods at that, as his number 1 receiver. Chris Moore is his number 2 receiver, and it he just didn't do well. But it's the same Malik Willis that went to Arrowhead Stadium with a primetime Pat Mahomes Chiefs team and took him to overtime. Should have won that game, actually. That's neither here nor there. But I saw the talent, I saw the flashes, and I just hate how horrible our fan base was to him because he's just a raw prospect that didn't have any business of starting for probably 3 years or so. And he got thrown to the Wolves, man, twice in the first 2 years. So I hate it, but he deserves it. He was always positive through the entire situation. I don't think he holds any ill will towards the Titans fans. I just feel like he's a really good guy, very talented, excited to see how he can do in a starting role. We saw flashes last year at the Packers, like that one game he played against the Ravens, a primetime football. Oh my God, dude. He was incredible. Incredible. I know when he played my Titans last year as a starter when Jordan Love got hurt, I was like, this is just karma for the way we treated him over here. He just lit us up. So he's shown flashes. Obviously it's going to be a big learning curve. New offense, not probably as good as weapons as he had in Green Bay by far. All he has is Jalen Waddle, and that's about it. He got a good running back there. So I'm really interested to see how what type of offense they run there. I mean, we'll have to see, but I feel like he has a chance to be successful. And if Malik Willis can play like he did in prime time last year, the entire season, dude, this $67 million contract is going to be a steal, a freaking steal. So got paid. This could work out tremendously for the Dolphins. It could be a disaster, but if it's a disaster, like it won't be as bad as paying Tua as much as they did. So this is Tua's replacement. I mean, it can't be any worse, you know. I really want to see him succeed. He's going to be thrown into a really bad situation again, though. But because the Dolphins, obviously, like they're not really expecting to be competitive next year. But I just want him to play well, man. I also have him. I've had him stashed in Dynasty for a while, so I'm happy. I'm happy that he's getting an opportunity to start. Now here's an interesting one: Isaiah Likely, 3 years, $40 million. Like Theo Johnson stock downhill. I was really hoping he was going to go somewhere where he was definitely going to be like a premier tight end one. I still think like Theo Johnson's going to get some playing time and all. How many targets he gets, I don't know. That's a really weird offense they're going to be running there. Jackson Dart, like he runs the ball a lot. I mean, I guess he just came from the Ravens scheme where Lamar runs the ball quite a bit as well, and he still got a fair share of targets when Mark Andrews was hurt. That's really weird. I always thought he was going to take over as a tight end one there, and they weren't going to pay Mark Andrews, but they gave Mark Andrews the bag, let him walk. Obviously, he's more like a receiver, doesn't block too well, but he still should, get a ton of targets. They gave him really, really good money, so, I mean, I'm assuming they're, like, giving him the bag like this. He's going to come in as a tight end one. Just don't know how many targets he's going to get in that offense. Like I said, they already have to feed Malik Neighbors. I guess they did just lose Wandale, so maybe he takes Wandale's targets. But Malik Neighbors might not even be healthy to start the season, so maybe he gets 1 million targets. We'll have to see. But I do think it's like the Giants have money to spend. They needed more talented offense to surround Jackson Dart with. Now he's got a good tight end target to throw to. So I feel like it's like this is probably like a 7 out of 10 kind of landing spot for Isaiah Likely, but it could have been worse. In my dreams as a Likely dynasty holder, I was really hoping Travis Kelce retired and he was going to replace him over there, but it's still a decent fit. Now, Demario Davis signing a 2-year, $22 million contract with the Jets. Good for him getting the bag, but I just thought at this point in his career, he was going to try to sign with a contender. And I'll be shocked if the Jets win more than 4 games next year. Like, they're getting some veterans, man. They surely are. Like, I kind of feel like it's going to be a disaster again. But, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, though, when you're a team like the Jets and you're so bad, why not sign veteran talent? You need good vibes around there. And I mean, like, it doesn't hurt your team by signing a quality player like Demario Davis just because he's 37 years old or however old he is at this point. For his sake, I thought he was going to sign with a contender. Okay, my Tennessee Titans signed Mitch Trubisky as our backup QB. He's not a bad backup. You could do much, much worse. We had Brandon Allen as our backup last year. He's not as bad as Brandon Allen. But I think this means Will Levis is no longer going to be a Titan. I don't think he wants to stick around as a QB3. I'm really wondering if like an Arizona Cardinals, like a New York Jets, like maybe a Vikings, maybe trade for Will Levis. Maybe throw in like a 5th round pick. And like Will Levis, we saw him in his rookie year was quality. Not great, but he was quality. And then I don't really think you can evaluate anybody under a Brian Callahan offense because Brian Callahan, I think, is going to end up going down. This is one of the worst head coach hires of this century. Dude is just incompetent. So like, as somebody that was really, really mad at Will Levis the prior season because of how horrible he was, I don't think you can really truly evaluate him. We've seen like success stories like Sam Darnold, given the right situation, and he's talented. Like Will Levis has got an arm to him. So I'm thinking this just means maybe somebody else is going to trade for him. I don't know. Like maybe I really feel like the Jets could be a really good fit for Will Levis. So let's see, though. I just think this kind of more signifies that Will Levis' time in Tennessee is over with. Kenneth Gainwell, who was incredible last year when he had the opportunities, signs with the Bucs. Gets the bag, 2 years, $14 million. Going to be interesting, that running back room now with him and Bucky Irving, which I'm assuming Bucky's still obviously going to be the one. But Gainwell definitely can kind of eat into those carries. So I feel like it's a good signing for the Bucs. Makes that a really, really good running back room. I was kind of interested what they were going to do. They're letting Rachaad White walk. They're letting Sean Tucker walk. So they needed a good backup, to Bucky Irving. And who better than freaking Kenneth Gainwell, dude? He was so good last year when he actually played for the Steelers. So dub signing in my book. And talking about the Bucs, they signed linebacker Alex Anzalone, 2 years, $17 million veteran. Some leadership added to that Buccaneers defense. And Buccaneers are just in a weird spot. They lost a pretty big player, which we'll see where the big player signed in a minute. But I mean, I feel like it's a good sign, not like a game changer or anything, but definitely, a good veteran presence at the linebacker core. Bears signing Kobe Bryant. They needed help in that secondary. They lost quite a bit in the secondary, which we'll see where some of those players sign. But Kobe Bryant, Super Bowl winner. Can't go wrong with that, was very, very talented, was very good in that Mike McDonald scheme over there. And like I said, Bears desperately needed safety help. Like Jaquan Brisker is still a free agent. Kevin Byard's gone. So I don't know why they didn't want to bring those two back, but this is a good replacement. I mean, you could definitely done a lot worse. Amik Robinson to the Commanders. I mean, this is just kind of like a mess signing. The Commanders need a lot of help. Probably the most disappointing team in football last year. I know Jaden Daniels was hurt a lot. Probably the most disappointing team we've seen in a long time. So they went from the freaking conference championship game to completely missing the playoffs and having one of the worst records in football. So they need all the help they can get. And it's kind of just a mess signing, though. Cade Mays to the Lions. They needed center help, obviously. Their offensive line was a big disappointment last year. Cade Mays was really good. Kind of surprised the Panthers let him walk. Was a little bit disappointed in this, though, because I really want my Titans to get him. We needed a center because we cut Lloyd Cushenberry. And Cade Mays was a perfect replacement. And he got the bag from the Lions. So, I mean, good signing from the Lions. Can't get everybody, We got a lot of players, which we'll go over, but can't get everybody. I still wonder what we're going to do at center. We got to get a good center. Jets, like I said, signed pretty much everybody. Got Joseph Asai, 3 years, $36 million. Like I told you guys earlier, if you're a half-decent edge rusher, you're going to get paid. He got $10+ million a season from the Jets. This isn't the only edge rusher the Jets signed. Now, this was a huge one. Talk about my Titans wanting to sign a center. Tyler Linderbaum was the dream, man. Ravens obviously couldn't pay him. I told you guys in my Max Crosby video that there's just no way they're going to be able to give that much money to Tyler Linderbaum when you just took on Max Crosby's contract. And as you see, the Raiders, who had the most money to spend in free agency, give probably the second most valuable free agent a huge deal. 3 years, $81 million, makes him the highest paid center in NFL history. I think he's making like close to $10 million more a season, I believe, than Creed Humphrey, who's the second highest paid center. So he got paid, and thank God for Ashton Genty's sake and Fernando Mendoza. Like, that offensive line was historically bad last year. And yeah, this might be a little bit of an overpay, but like when you're a team so bad like the Raiders and you have money to spend and you desperately need to protect for your coming in number one pick at the quarterback position and also need your superstar running back actually not get hit in the backfield every play, I feel like this is a good deal for both sides. Tyler Linderbaum gets the biggest contract ever for a center. Maybe going to a kind of a sneaky franchise, but this is definitely going to help him out, man. They needed this desperately. This is what I was talking about earlier. Ty Algier, 2-year deal, $12 million from the Cardinals. I totally thought he was going to go somewhere where he could start because when he got playing times with the Falcons, he was great. And he joins a pretty deep running back room with the Cardinals. They just brought back James Conner for another year. So they now have Ty Algier, James Conner, and Trey Benson. So like, they split carries, one of them get the bulk of the carries. Who knows? Like, I just really thought he was going to go somewhere where, like, he actually had a chance to, be the premier back, which is kind of hard nowadays. But, I mean, he got paid, undrafted free agent, got $6 million a season. Just a weird move overall for both parties because I just thought he was going to go to a way less crowded running back room. And it's like, if they're the Cardinals, do they just not have faith in Trey Benson? Is that the thing? Because I just don't understand why you re-sign or why you signed Ty Algier if you just brought back James Conner. But, I mean, they have a deep running back room at least, They had a ton of injuries last year at the position, so I suppose now, like, at least one of the guys should stay healthy all season. Now, this one, Travis Etienne to the New Orleans Saints on like a 4-year, $40 million contract. I think that kind of means they're going to move on from Alvin Kamara. Like, they needed a good running back there for Tyler Shough to hand the ball off to. He's definitely can do it all. Can catch some balls out the backfield. Good runner. He was like, as a former first round pick, was a little disappointing first few years of his career, but then kind of broke out again last year. Really good season a year ago. But the Jags, obviously, they got Tootin now, who's probably going to take over as the lead back. But I do feel like it's a little bit of overpay given him because I think he's already 27 years old, right? Giving him 4 years, so he's kind of locked down for a while. But, I mean, does it hurt him? No. I mean, it's a good addition. Kind of like, as a Saints fan, like if the Titans signed him, this wouldn't be a needle mover for me at all, but they had some money to spend, which is unusual for the Saints, giving their young quarterback a good running back, good pairing, I believe. Now, here we go. Titans signing Wan'Dale Robinson, reuniting with Brian Daboll. We needed wide receivers desperately, dude. Cam Ward needed somebody to get open last year, and who better than a really good slot? He got about $16 million a season over a 3-year contract. Like, is he a wide receiver 1? No. Was there really a wide receiver one on the market? No. Probably the second best receiver out there. I still kind of holding out hope that we get Romeo Dobbs. Probably not going to happen. But I think Calvin Ridley, Wan'Dale Robinson, maybe draft a receiver in the second round. Alec Ayomena and Chim Dika, who held down the fort last year as fourth-round rookies. I've definitely seen much worse wide receiver rooms as a Titans fan in my life. So I think it's a good signing. I mean, Brian Daboll knows how to use him, obviously. He had 1,000 yards last year. So Cam Moore desperately needs help, even if it means overpaying receivers. I don't know if it's an overpay, dude. He's been productive. As a Titans fan, I kind of expected this to happen. Like him and another one of our signings that did happen. I think we all kind of knew they were going to happen just from kind of the rumor mill and just making connections and whatnot. So I wasn't surprised by this at all. So it didn't really excite me when it happened because I kind of already knew it was coming. But a major, major need fulfilled. Good wide receiver, too. I still hope we keep Calvin Ridley. I know a lot of people think he's going to get cut, but what does cutting Calvin Ridley do? It doesn't save us that much money. We're not going to replace him with anybody better with the money that we save. So I feel like cutting Calvin Ridley just brings us back to square one. But an expected but appreciated signing. Then Jalen Naylor going to the Raiders, man. They have money to spend. They have a ton of money to spend still. I think 90 mil left over. And they need a wide receiver help for their incoming rookie quarterback. And the wide receiver room is not good there. They have Brock Bowers they can throw to at the tight end position. But now they have Trey Tucker, Jalen Naylor, Jack Beck, Dante Thornton. So maybe a little bit of an overpay. As Jalen Naylor showed you got some talent to him, But is he a good wide receiver too? Probably not, which he's going to be asked to be in Las Vegas. Although, there's still a draft to go. He's a good receiver, but they have money to spend. They need a wide receiver help. Not a bad signing for him, even if it's a little bit of overpay. Good signing for the Saints too. Like their new running back, got a good guard now to block for him. And Tyler Shuck's got a pretty good offensive line now with David Edwards being signed. Got a deal worth $15 million per season. He's a really good guard. Big loss for the Bills, I believe. Now here's a big one. The 49ers signing Mike Evans to a 3-year deal. Apparently, the Bucs were willing to match it, but apparently Mike Evans wanted different scenery, which is crazy considering he's been a Buck every year of his career. Normally, a guy like him would want to stay till he retires. But I don't know if there's something going on over there. There is a few rumors that they're not necessarily getting along with Todd Bowles. Baker Mayfield's a weird little connection there. I didn't think so. I don't know if I'd believe that. But, man, big signing for the 49ers, a guy who's been so healthy in his career, obviously a freakish injury a year ago, but he's been so healthy in his career, and that's been the 49ers' problem. Freaking Brock Purdy's throwing the third stringers at the end of last year. So they get a big body that has stayed healthy for 95% of his career. And the guaranteed money's not even that crazy. I think the guarantee's only like 15 mil. So I think it's a really good contract, even though it's a 3-year deal for a 32-year-old receiver for the 49ers. So I feel like this is a really good move for both parties. He'll probably come in as wide receiver 1, So Brock Purdy's probably over the freaking moon here. So a good deal, I think, for both parties here. Just really going to be really weird to see him leave the Buccaneers, although the uniform colors are at least going to be kind of similar. Jameel Dean to the Steelers, 3 years, $36 million. They needed cornerback help. He's one of the better ones on the market. Another really good player the Bucs lose. So I really don't know if the Buccaneers were any better after free agency. I think they might actually got a little worse with some of the players they couldn't re-sign. This was a weird one. Devin Bush to the Bears. Instead of re-signing Tremaine Edmonds, they brought in Devin Bush, 3 years, $30 million. You'll see where Tremaine Edmonds signs a second. But again, why not keep Tremaine Edmonds? He's a really good player for the Browns last year, but I don't understand just why not keep Edmonds. Talk about the Falcons signing mid-receivers. Jahan Dotson got paid. I guess Jahan Dotson and Zacchaeus is just better than what they had last year, but it's still just like Drake London, Zacchaeus, Jahan Dotson. Not really good targets outside of Drake London, obviously, and Kyle Pitts for Tua to throw to. But, again, it'd be better what they had the last few years, so I guess improvement's better than nothing. Good deal here for the Browns. Zion Johnson, 3 years, $50 million. Got a payday, and that Browns offensive line hasn't been incredible. Zion's still young, man, coming off his rookie contract. I feel like this is going to be, honestly, one of the best signings of the offseason. Oh, this is one that warms my heart. John Franklin Myers, 3 year, $63 million contract to sign with my Tennessee Titans. Him and Jeff Simmons are going to make for a scary duo. And them on the inside, dude, whoever we end up throwing out there edge rush now, we have Jermaine Johnson, we have Olufemi Oladejo, the rookie who got hurt last year, who actually fits perfect in Robert Saleh's scheme. The edge, even if we don't sign another premier edge rusher or a half-decent edge rusher, not really premier edge rushers out there outside of maybe Trey Hendrickson, which I don't think we can afford now. But man, whoever is out there, who's ever thrown out there at edge rush, is going to feast with Franklin Myers and Jeff Simmons rushing the quarterback. He got big payday. He'd been kind of recruited by Jermaine Johnson for a while, and they were kind of public about it. He had tweeted a few times. That's why, like, apparently some other teams at last minute were trying to offer him more, but he wanted to be a Titan, and you love it when a player wants to be a part of your franchise. But I'm really, really, really excited to see what John Franklin Myers and Jeff Simmons can do together. It really might be one of the craziest duos in the National Football League. And we've been really weak at edge rush the last few years, but I really feel like we could see a career year from Jermaine Johnson as long as Femi Oladejo is fully healthy and like can continue to progress as a really raw rookie pass rusher. Didn't show too much until he got hurt. I mean, didn't show much at all last year, but under Robert Saleh, I feel like he could make huge strides. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see maybe Jermaine Johnson hit double-digit sacks next year and see Femi Oladejo get close to double-digit sacks, just because these guys are just going to be taking up so much on that inside offensive line. So let's see. I think it's going to be a really, really, really fun time in that interior of the Titans defensive line next year. Talk about Jim Harbaugh loving the big beefy boys. Already got Alec Ingold. Now he gets Charlie, one of the best, actually probably the best blocking tight end in football. And he got paid like it. 3 years, $24 million just to block. So the running game stock for Omarion Hampton and that Los Angeles Charger offense is up big time. This is what I'm saying. Like, he barely got more money from the Giants than what Devin Bush got with the Bears. So why didn't the Bears just keep him around? I don't know if there's like something weird going on there, but good signing for the Giants here. Man, like, that's pretty cheap, I feel like, for Tremaine Edmonds. So I feel like this is a dub. I'm just curious to know why they pretty much traded Tremaine Edmonds for Devin Bush. So back to my Titans. We needed cornerback help desperately. We probably had the worst cornerback room in football last year. Cordero Flott, 3 years, $45 million. Was pretty good with the Giants. Not a lockdown one or anything, but dude, I'll take a 2. I'll take a good solid cornerback 2 as our 1, because we need, we were throwing out freaking 7th round rookie as our number 1 corner last year, Marcus Harris, who did a good job, but he's more suited as like a 3 or 4. So Cordero Flott, welcome to the team. He's not the last cornerback that we signed. I'll just see in just a minute. Bengals get Brian Cook. Like, the Chiefs pretty much lost their entire secondary, I feel like. So the Bengals defense has been like historically bad, so they need all the help they can get. So good signing for them. J.K. Dobbins going back to the Broncos. Happy for him, man. After all the injuries he had, got hurt again last year. I mean, I'm not sure how much he's going to play over R.J. Harvey if they're going to split 50-50, but they apparently missed out on some of the running backs out there, like a Kenneth Walker. So he gets another good opportunity to, be a premier back in the league, and he's talented. So I'm happy for him. And like I said, Titans signed Alontae Taylor, who got big bag, 3 years, $60 million. That's about $20 million a season. Like, as an outsider looking in, who obviously didn't watch all the Saints games, I thought he's really good. It's one of those things where, like, you kind of see what the Saints fans say about this, and they're like, oh, thank God he's off our team. I don't know if that's just like them just being salty, but I'm happy that we got Alontae Taylor. Jesus, dude, we were throwing out freaking Darrell Baker. We were throwing out Marcus Harris, our 7th round pick, as our top corners last year after L'Jarius Sneed got hurt for the 15th time. So, like, he might not be worth $60 million over 3 years, but he's worth it to us, dude, because our cornerback room, we needed desperate help. We pretty much completely revamped it yesterday through free agency. So Cordero Flott, Alontae Taylor, another signing that we got that we'll see. I'm happy. I'm very happy with it. Marcus Mariota back to the Commanders as the backup. That's a good move for both these guys. I was kind of hoping that he was going to come back to my Titans to be Cam Ward's backup. That would have just been poetic, but not everything good in your life can happen. Another guy who got the bag, Odafe Oweh, which the Chargers are going to get a really good comp pick now after trading a 7th round pick for him last year. He got 4 years, $100 million from the Commanders, who needed edge rush help desperately, and they get it. Like, the best positions to play in football: receiver, offensive tackle, edge, and maybe cornerback and quarterback. Obviously, play those 4 positions. If you're just half decent, you're going to you're going to create generational wealth. So, like, the Commanders had a ton of money to spend, and, like, is he worth $25 million a season? I would be kind of mad if my Titans spent this money on him. I'm like, why not just spend, like, $5 to $10 million more a year for Trey Hendrickson? But I mean, for all parties involved here, the Commanders needed help, and you don't always have your pick of the bunch in free agency, so they could have done a lot worse there. And then talking about edge rush help, former Super Bowl winner, Boy Mafe, to the Bengals, who, again, just need all the defensive talent possible. So I mean, again, it could be maybe seen as a little bit of an overpay, but the Bengals needed this help very, very, very bad. Again, we already kind of touched on this tour of the Falcons. I don't even know how to feel about this. Like, I mean, he's probably going to start for a while. I don't know. Who knows if Penix even going to play next year. But we'll have to see. I really hope for the best. I really hope he kind of has a resurgence here. Maybe shows in the starts that he does get that he's still capable in a new situation. Maybe Miami was just too much for him after kind of the slack he's taken the last couple years. So maybe a new situation will do him justice, and maybe he plays well and gets a good bag the next offseason. But I mean, it definitely could be worse situations, I suppose. He should be able to at least get some playing time. Gardner Minshew now going to be the backup quarterback of the Cardinals, which is weird to me because apparently they're going to run out Jacoby Brissett again next year. I thought again maybe like look at a Will Levis. Maybe why cut Kyler Murray? I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I understand why they cut Kyler. I mean, he's very expensive, and Brissett was more productive than him last year. But I just felt like they were going to try to improve at quarterback, not just stick with Brissett again, because even though Brissett produced, like statistically, they don't think they won a single game. Maybe one game with Brissett as a starter. So that whole situation is kind of weird to me. I'm still not convinced they're not going to try to improve at quarterback for next year. But as of right now, Gardner Minshew's signing like to be the backup, and they're expecting to start Brissett. So Minshew, I think the Minshew mania is kind of done and dusted. I don't think we'll ever see him really start again. But who knows? I mean, if we can see him beat Jacoby Brissett maybe in a quarterback duel. Larry Tunsil back to the Commanders. They could not afford to lose him at all. They can't afford to lose any of their best players. Here comes the Raiders again, spending $1 trillion. Quid pay to a deal worth $16 million a season. Again, I feel like a little bit of overpay, but the Raiders don't really, they can't really afford not to overpay right now. And the only way they can bring in decent talent is to overpay. It is crazy because after all these deals, dude, they still have like $90 million to spend. And here we are. It was $12 million in 2026 for Travis Kelce to have a chance to make 15. Then this is an interesting one. The Broncos released Drake Greenlaw. I'm kind of hoping my Titans scoop him up. We need another linebacker, and I feel like he could be deadly in a Robert Saleh scheme. Like, I feel like that's a match made in freaking heaven, dude. And like, Broncos fans, I know, are just very confused why they released him. And I am too. And I hope my Titans can scoop him up, man. Noah Fant to be a backup tight end of the Saints. We had Nakobe Dean getting a huge contract for his sake from the Raiders. Again, like I told you, they're signing everybody. But, I mean, they needed talent, man. Their defense was like, if they didn't spend this money on defense, they were going to be historically bad next year. So, if Mendoza as a rookie, like, he's not going to be able to score 50 points a game to win. So at least the defense, and maybe, again, they're overpaying on everybody, but they're getting some talent. They're getting a talent influx, and that's what they needed badly. And again, Quay Walker to the Raiders, which, I mean, you just can't build through free agency. Like, it's got to be supplemental, and they're building through free agency. We've seen disasters happen like this, so maybe they're a disaster waiting to happen. But just on paper, their obviously defense is going to be much better, although I guess maybe not. They lost Max Crosby, but overall wise, like, they've replaced the Max Crosby production with like 8 different players that are all decent. So maybe the defense will be more productive next year. Who knows? Then we have Rashid Shaheed got a bag. I think he got paid like $50 million, which is kind of crazy because he didn't do much at receiver last year for the Seahawks, but maybe they have a bigger role playing. I know he's an incredible returner for him last year. Kenny Pickett to be a backup to the Panthers, so I'm assuming that means probably Andy Dalton's going to be gone. Reed Blankenship got a 3-year, $25 million contract from the Texans, who I believe they released Jimmy Ward. Am I wrong about that? They cut half their offensive linemen, and they're giving a lot of that money to Reed Blankenship, which I'm sure this isn't offensive line money. But, I mean, that's a good contract for a former Super Bowl winner. I mean, he's good. He's good. So he'll help out that secondary a little bit. Kendrick Bourne to the Cardinals, who was really good when he was the wide receiver 1 for the 49ers for a couple games last year because everybody else got hurt. He'll definitely slide in as a 3, obviously, behind Marvin Harrison, behind Michael Wilson. But I think a good contract for him, and he's a good wide receiver 3. And then the Panthers signing Devin Lloyd. I was hoping my Titans were going to get him. So the Panthers doing some work, man, on the defense side of the football. I mean, again, they have brought in Jalen Phillips. They have brought in Devin Lloyd. A lot of money spent. And, I mean, they needed help there. So, I mean, like, he's probably the best linebacker that was available, and they snatched him up. Jalen Phillips, arguably the best edge, available. So, they're definitely spending a lot of money on the defense side of the football. They need that help, man. Rico Dowdle to the Steelers. Now, the question is he going to take over as the 1? Because he was really, really mad about his usage last year with Chuba. And like, he's really sounded like he want to be a 1. I just don't know if he'll be able to start over Jaylen Warren. but I'm assuming more like a 50-50 split or so. I feel like the Steelers is kind of like a really good fit for him. So instead of Kenneth Gainwell and Jaylen Warren, it's now going to be Rico Dowdle in Jaylen Warren. He'll probably get like the goal line touches or something like that. And Caleb Johnson owners, stock even further down. You had a good like 40 or you had a good like 24-hour insanity run, thinking maybe Caleb Johnson could actually do something, but I'm one of those guys. But nah, Caleb Johnson's career's already over, I feel like. And the Chiefs having to replace everybody lost in secondary. Got Gilman from the Ravens, a really, really talented safety over there. Got 3 years, $24 million. They lost Brian Cook, replaced him with Gilman. So could have done a lot worse there. And then, I didn't even see this. Tyquan Thornton back to the Chiefs. I thought he was going to go get some more playing time somewhere else. Okay, that's interesting. He was really good when he had to play last year. So I was really shocked his playing time ticked down later in the year. I mean, I just feel like he should get more playing time. He was really good when he got to play because of injury. So maybe he's going to get some more playing time. Who knows? And the Patriots signing Elijah Vera Tucker. This was out of nowhere. A lot of Giants fans were convinced he was going to the Giants because I think Jackson Dart followed him or something. So that was the rumor on the street. But the Patriots, as you saw in the Super Bowl, needed some offensive line help, and they get arguably the best guard that was available. So I think he got paid north of maybe $20 million a season. So, I mean, for Vrabel, dude, I feel like he's a really good fit for Vrabel's offense. So, for them, that's a really good signing. Greg Newsome of the Giants. He got traded from the Browns last year in a really strange trade that went down for, I believe, Tyson Campbell. So, I mean, they lost Cordell Flott. I'm assuming he's coming in to be the replacement. Dawson Knox re-signs with the Bills, which is weird because he's the backup there. I thought he was maybe can go try to get more playing. He still gets decent playing time, but he's definitely a step behind Dalton Kincaid. Quincy Williams to the Browns. There was rumors that he was interested in, reuniting with Robert Saleh, but the Browns get themselves another good linebacker. I don't know if this is supposed to be like a like-for-like replacement for Devin Bush. I don't believe so, but, I mean, a good veteran guy, be a good help in that Browns D. This one was cool. Isaiah Pacheco to be a David Montgomery replacement? I don't think so. Like, he's not the same running back. He's more of a speedster, obviously, and they already got that Jahmyr Gibbs. This is a weird one. This is a weird one. It's cool, but it's a weird one. I don't really know. Like, he's probably not going to get many. I don't think he's going to get the same amount of touches as what David Montgomery did last year. And since, him and Jahmyr Gibbs has kind of been splitting, I think it's going to be more the Gibbs show this year, as it was last year. But I feel like Pacheco's might get 6 carries a game. And hold on a minute. You are getting some live reactions because it's the first time I'm seeing this. The Raiders, they're sending Geno Smith in a 7th-round pick to the Jets for a 2026 6. So a swap for Geno Smith, as it seems like Geno Smith is going to be the starting quarterback of the Jets next year as he returns to the team which he started his NFL career with. That just threw him to the Wolves and then just kicked them out. And then he saw some success with the Seahawks. So, okay, there goes my Will Levis to the Jets dream, just killed just like that. All right. I don't... Like, if I'm the Jets, wouldn't you rather give some money to Kyler Murray or something? I just feel like that's so... I feel like they could do so much better. Like, Geno was so bad. I know there's, like, a lot of NFL execs that were like, he wasn't as bad as what it looked like. But he was in a bad situation, which I'm sure part of that is true. But I just feel like at this point in time, I don't know, he's throwing the season away. I mean, it's not all the veterans and trading for the veterans that they are. I just feel like they're trying to do better. I mean, obviously the goal is always to do better. But I just feel like he should... I don't know. I feel like he should have higher aspirations than Geno Smith. Like, I would rather give a shot to a 26-year-old Will Levis. Probably could have got him for maybe a 6th-round pick than try to rely on Geno Smith next year. That's just a weird one to me. I don't know. And then my dream's over. You get to see my dreams crushed in real time. Romeo Doubs signs a 4-year, $70 million contract, less than Wan'Dale Robinson, to sign with the New England Patriots. I'm assuming to be Stephon Diggs' replacement. So Drake May gets him a really, really good target here. I'm not sure if he'll be better than Stephon Diggs. I mean, he's only 25, so he still has room to get better. And we saw receivers like A.J. Brown, get better in a Mike Vrabel-led team. So we'll see if Romeo Doubs can get better. He should definitely get the most targets he's ever gotten in his career, but this kind of crushes me a little bit. I honestly kind of wish we'd have rather got Doubs than Wan'Dale Robinson, but still, I feel like that's a really good move on both parties. Just a little disappointed live. Okay, the Panthers bringing back Isaiah Simmons. But I think that was probably the last big trade that happened. So you got to see those reactions live. Wow, Geno Smith back to the Jets. Okay, the Texans are signing Colts offensive tackle Braden Smith. So as I mentioned today, the Texans Dude, they lost half their offensive linemen, and they bring in Braden Smith to replace him. So, like, he's a really good tackle. I'm really surprised the Colts allowed him to leave and go to a division rival. I mean, I don't know how much money the Colts really have to spend now after dishing out all the money they've dished out, and also still having to re-sign Daniel Jones, so maybe that's why that happened. But I feel like the Texans, a good move from them. And I believe that is it, boys. Big first 48 hours in NFL free agency. There's still crazy moves that are yet to come, potentially. Trey Hendrickson, I'm still hoping he can be a Titan. This article says Kyle Murray. Like, I don't really, where's he go? The Vikings? I have no idea. Rasheed Walker, still a really good tackle left. Aaron Rodgers, I think he's going to go back to the Steelers, probably. Tariq Woolen is somebody that I know he kind of fell off last year or so, but still insane athleticism, insane size. I was kind of hoping he was going to be one of the cornerbacks my Titans went after, but I think we're good there. Romeo Dobbs off the list. Braden Smith off the list. Taylor Decker's still there. Elgton Jenkins, a guy I really hope my Titans sign. But boys, I think the better free agents are gone. Still some crazy trades that can go down. But it's definitely been a crazy 30 hours, first 30 hours in NFL free agency. So I want you guys to let me know in the comments what you think about free agency so far. How has your team done? Are you mad? Are you happy? And make sure you subscribe to this RBTV channel. I know a lot of you guys might be new around here. I'm going to be here all year yapping, talking sports, talking NFL, breaking down with my dumb hick analysis. So hopefully you're enjoying, and I'll see you next time.